Giggy here, and as you can see, we are back on F124 with some league racing action. And this time we are at round 3 of the GASR Racing League. You saw round 2 at Spain, Barcelona, where if you haven't watched it, I won't spoil it, but that is out on my YouTube now. This race here, Zandvoort, is one of my best tracks on the game. I've always been a massive fan of this circuit. It suits me very well. However, in practice, as you'll see for this qualifying session, we were struggling quite a bit. And I know I said about the equal cars, and there's been quite a bit of a discussion about that because I know leagues such as PSGL, WOR, they believe there is actually quite a few discrepancies between the equal cars. And I myself, I haven't tested super thoroughly, but when I use this Ferrari, I just really seem to struggle. And you'll see in Q3, that was my PB with this car. When I've tried some other cars, I managed to beat that quite comfortably. So I don't know if it's placebo or I'm just not liking the feel of the car or something like that due to the wheelbase. But I just really struggle to get a lap in this car. And as you'll see in this Q3, or as you saw in that Q2, we bottled our final run of Q2 and we just got through into Q3. We were a few hundredths away from being knocked out, got P10. So, and this is a circuit where you need to start fairly high up the grid if you want any chance of a good result. And my round 1, I came P11 because I had to start with the back of the grid. And my last race wasn't going particularly optimal at the end. And there's 19 rounds in this championship, so there's plenty of way to go, but I need to start racking up some big points. And my main strength is definitely consistency, and now I need to start scoring some consistent points. But you can see this up here. This was with my fresh tyres. My first one was with used tyres, hence why the delta's going up by quite a bit. I honestly felt like this lap was almost perfect. I think just the last corner I made a little bit of a mistake, but everything else, I think there's only maybe another 10th in this lap on an absolute perfect one. But as you can see, as we go through here, missing the apex a little bit, running a little bit wide on that curb, maybe costs me half a tenth or so. But yeah, coming across the line, you'll see an 8.8, and that is only enough for 7th, which shows again the competition of this league. And yeah, pretty underwhelming qualifying. And I was a bit perplexed of where this time actually is, because I felt like I was driving really well, felt like the set was going well. So we're starting P7. We decided to start on the medium tyres, and there's some people ahead who have started on the soft side. Just thought, why not do the alternate strategy? This time we don't have to pit twice. It's going to be a one-stop race, so more of a traditional league race. And yeah, this is a really good track for me. I think probably my top 3 tracks on the game. So let's see what we do. So we've got 4 lights, 5 lights, and as they go out, as always, just trying not to lose any position. The guy ahead of me on the mediums has got a really good start, so we're going to spot the space on the outside, try and use that to my advantage, and we managed to maintain our 7th place. But yeah, qualifying is not a strong point for me, but to be qualifying in 7th round here was actually a really big surprise. And you can see a safety car has come out straight away. Not going to make the same mistake as I did in Barcelona. As you'll see in my last video on round 2, we decided not to pit. There was absolutely no point in pitting here. So we decided to stay out on the medium tyres, wait for the safety car to come in, make sure again we don't lose any positions, and let's see how good my race pace actually is. The good thing on this game, or I would say good thing, is that it's very easy to recover your ERS. However, I think that was probably one of my strengths on the recent F1 games, where it was a lot harder to recoup your battery. I was actually quite good at maintaining it and letting other people run out of their battery, and that's how I pick people off. In this game, since it's so easy to say we don't have that advantage anymore, someone has gone off in turn 1, so now we've made up 1 position. Don't know quite what happened there, but I'll certainly take it. But yeah, again, the battery, you can't, being tactical and strategic doesn't really matter as much anymore, because people can just reharvest that battery within 2 corners. You're constantly attacking and defending all the time. So we're up into P6. As we go through this corner, Ickle has a little bit of a mistake, runs out on the curb. That's another gift up into P5, so we made up 2 positions in the first 8 laps. And you can see a lot of people ahead of me up until P3 are on the mediums, and I think there's a couple of guys on the softs as well. So moving on to lap 14, starting to put some pressure. So at this point of the race, I was actually feeling pretty good. I felt like I was faster than some of the cars ahead of me, and I was really using this opportunity to see where they would use the ERS or where they were a bit slower. And I could see at this point they didn't use the ERS. I thought, you know what, let's just try and surprise them, and we're going to go out the inside. Quite a risky move, but I knew if I have any chance of winning this race, then I have to be making some overtakes. And again, just having those 6 laps behind the cars up ahead, I would encourage you to use that as an opportunity to see where they're using the battery, where they're fast, where they're slow, and that can normally give you a good idea where you should be overtaking. But you can see some people have started to pit, and Carl is going to pit now. So my goal here was to try and stay out as long as possible to have the fresher tyres, because the undercut isn't actually that big around here. So we're going behind Anton, I'm going to call him. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but the Haas driver here. We're going to be exchanging some positions, and the goal is just to have the freshest softs as possible. So yeah, I will be undercutted by the people who went from the soft to the medium, but I know the soft tyre is very, very good around here, and as you can see, we dip all on the grass. The Haas then pits, so we are going to have the freshest tyres out of everyone coming towards the end of the race. I knew I could make some overtakes. I felt pretty good in my race pace, and I thought this would be my best opportunity to win the race. So actually on the end of lap 21, pitting absolute last out of all the net race leaders, and managed to nail that pit entry, nailing the turning point, and we're also going to nail the 2.2 second pit stop, and that was really good. So you can see Carl is coming through now, so he's the net race leader. He's on the medium tyres. There's a few people in the mediums, and the Haas, who pitted the lap before me, my goal was to try and get back of him in his DRS. You can see he hasn't really done much of an overcut, so we actually had a really good in lap, and now all I have to do is get back within his DRS. I have a lap fresher tyres than him, which is actually quite a big deal around this circuit, and I felt very, very good in my race pace. So if we can get back up in his DRS, try and follow him through the field, or really use him to get through the field, and then put ourselves in a good position into the last few laps of the race. So the detection point is coming up soon, so there's a white line that's just about to appear, and there it was, and we're in that detection point, and that's exactly what we need to do. So right now we are actually in the box seat to do something in this race, and you can see he's managed to make his way past a driver already, so I've got to make sure I'm not held up for too long, but also not taking too much risk, because I knew that he would be catching the lead group. He wouldn't be getting past them straight away, so I don't need to be super anxious about getting past these cars. Go for this overtake again and again. Try not to take too much risk. I don't want to be out of control here, leaving some room on the inside, but with these soft tyres, using that grip to my advantage. But again, moving up into 6th place now, you can see again the Haas driver is actually, there's 2 cars between us now, but the lead group is just going around the last corner. So as long as I get past these cars fairly quickly, then I know I'll be able to catch that lead group. So I really got to get past the Sauber driver going into turn 1. Doesn't fight it too much. He's actually on the hard tyre, so I knew at this stage I would be having the fastest tyres coming towards the end of the race. So I should be the fastest driver on track that has the most grip as well. Now we're behind Equal again. You can see the Haas is just up ahead of him. He doesn't have the DRS in the car. I'm ahead of him, so if I get past Equal here, then I can use that DRS to get back within the DRS zone of the Haas. So you really got to try and plan your moves like a game of chess. Always think about, if I make this overtake here, what's the consequence, what's the benefit, and trying to plan your moves out in advance rather than just doing it in the moment. And that's the way I tend to drive. I always try and think about maybe a lap or 2 ahead, where I want to be, where I want to be positioning myself. And now we're up into P4, back within the DRS zone of the Haas, and we have a lap fresher tyres. So this is exactly where I want to be. And you can see after a couple of laps, we have caught this lead train. And yeah, with still 5 laps of this race to go, having the freshest tyres, we are in a pretty good spot. So the goal now is to get into the top 2 with 2 laps to go. I don't want to be the third man in the DRS train where there's going to be a lot of risk. So I want to make sure I'm in that position where either leading or in second place going into the last lap. I don't want to be third or fourth, so I actually need to dispatch of this Haas as quick as I possibly can. So going through into this right-hander, I've always had a little bit of understeer through here, so just trying to be as close as I possibly can. And I was having to work really hard this race, and although I felt good in my driving, felt like the pace was still maybe lacking, but you can see the Haas has made a bit of a mistake, so we're going to try and use this as a bit of an opportunity because we won't be getting many of these. So go around the outside to then get the inside for this left-hander with those fresher tyres, trying to get that slightly better traction, use an overtake, and now we've got that move done up into third place, and this is again exactly where I want to be. So that was a really crucial move. There isn't going to be too many mistakes I could capitalise on, and we managed to do that very nicely. So now we're up into the top 3, and the guy ahead of me in the Alpine, I think he pitted 2 or 3 laps before me, so we do have a bit of a significant tyre advantage on him. So right now I was feeling very confident for the race win. If we just drive well and use our battery intelligently, then I felt like we had a really good chance to win, which is exactly what I need to get myself back in this championship as well. So Kay is trying to go down the inside of Carl, and they're going side by side, so I'm just going to let them two try and sort themselves out between these couple of corners, making sure I don't pick up any damage, because we still have 3 laps of this race to go. So let them have this corner, and on the exit here I can see they weren't really using their ERS that much, so as we go through this left-hander I decided to put on that ERS, and we're going to go down the outside one, but just 2 drivers down the inside, and now we've gone from third to first down the inside about really fast right-hander. Unfortunately, Carl, because it was pretty wide going there, he actually clipped the grass on the exit, the McLaren, and he has actually lost a lot of time, and he's my main championship rival as well. So we really need to capitalise on this, and once I got into the lead here, I felt like it was mine to lose. I have the freshest tyres, I felt like I had the best race pace, and I just need to position myself really well. So I'm going to let this Alpine go, but really crucial not to let the Haas in third place get ahead of me. So I made sure I carried the speed around the outside. I cannot afford to be in third place, so I need to be really in the top 2 at all times. So coming into this penultimate lap, I didn't want to be leading into the last lap, so I don't really want to overtake him here, but I also don't want to lose my position to first. So I'm actually going to cover the inside, so just give the Haas absolutely nowhere to go. He's trying to go around the outside of me, but we just get better traction with those fresher tyres, and now we're in P2. This is exactly where I want to be, and we just got to make sure we're nice and close coming on the exit of the last corner, and we're going to have almost full battery for the last lap. So I felt right now, unless I made a huge mistake, this was going to be my race to lose. And yeah, so making sure we're nice and close. But I know Dirty Air has been reduced since the patch, but I was still actually feeling quite a lot of understeer. So I don't know if it was a setup or if Dirty Air was actually affecting me a little bit, or the car, but I was struggling to actually follow people. But making sure we're nice and close here. We have the DRS, little dummy to the left, down the inside, and we're going to get back on the racing line. So now we're leading into this last lap, and unless I make a big error now, we should comfortably be winning this race. We have a lot of battery on board. We have about 3 lap fresher tyres, then the Alpine behind, a lap fresher tyre, then the guy in third place. Yeah, there's no real many opportunities to overtake unless you make a big error. And with my pace, I just felt like all I have to do is just keep it on track, and we're going to take this race win. We're going to collect some big points. And we can see going really out wide here, so I was always really struggling with that right hander. I was getting a lot of understeer in the race going through here. So coming off this left hand, this is probably one of the last opportunities to overtake. We actually get a really good exit coming off here, so making sure we save a bit of battery for the last corner, because the DRS to line is actually an opportunity. But in my mind at this point, I thought the race was done. I thought there was absolutely no way I'm going to lose this, but he actually gets a really good left-hander here, missed the apex there, and we get a good run coming onto here, using the ERS, and you'd think the race is over, but what happens here? We clip the grass, he comes really close behind us, and side by side, and he just pimps me on the line. All because of that mistake. I lost this race by 0.006, 6 thousandths of a second, all because I was looking behind and I clipped myself in the grass. I actually did that on a couple of other laps as well. I was absolutely gutted at that. But I don't know if I'm pleased to tell you, but I can tell you, actually, the race winner there, Kay, was given a 5-second penalty because of a previous incident, which I'll be putting up on the screen now. That means I have actually still won this race. So very, very lucky. That was quite embarrassing, and I was gutted after that. After all that work, starting P7 to try and come through and win. Yeah, we came second on the track, but I can confirm I actually did get the race win. So we still got those points. Brought myself back in the championship. You can see the standings here now. And yeah, that was actually a pretty good race, a pretty intense one. I'm at Monza tomorrow. I will be live streaming this race from 7 p.m. UK time on this YouTube channel, so make sure you join me for that. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed the Grand Prix, and I will be catching you very, very soon. Peace.